लक्ष्मण मूरचेद परे सकारे आनी संजीवन आनी संजीवन आनी संजीवन आनी संजीवन लक्ष्मण मूरचेद परे सकारे आनी संजीवन प्राण उबारे कैती हो कैती पता रे नमकारी कही रावण की पूजा उतारी सुन नर मुनि आरती उतारे जय 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 हनुमान उचारे सुन नर मुनि आरती उतारे जय 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 हनुमान उचारे कंचन 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 आरती करता अंदना माई जय 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 हनुमान 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 पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। आसन लीजिए सब लोग, तरह take our seats. On this beautiful night, my dear friends, we'd like to take this wonderful opportunity to welcome each and every one. We say आपको स्वागत और नमस्कार करता हूँ सब लोग. To all bhaktas, to all devotees who've taken this beautiful moment to join with us tonight. Tonight is the grand night, as we call it. It is the Shri Hanuman Jayanti night. A night where devotees around the world, many people across the world, they are praying to Lord Hanumanji. How many people woke up this morning and made an offering of a jal? Let me see. How many people probably didn't get to offer jal, but you still offer flower at some point in the day? How many people remember Lord Hanumanji today? Well, we go work on that tonight. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki, Bajrangabali ki jai. On this divine night, it is the night where devotees will sacrifice their time, their efforts, their energy, their love, their dedication, and with it they will pay their pranams to none other than Mahavir Swami. Once more, we specially welcome all to the members of the Celestial Gandharvas. Once more, Pandit Dharmendra, he would have come earlier to perform prayer and worship. We extend our blessings to him. We have devotees who tuned in via Facebook. Wherever you are, we say special welcome. And to all the bhaktas who are locked on also, by Krish Singh ji, Kavita ji, once more special thanks. To all those who are tuned in via 97.5 FM, a special welcome to all our listeners. For on this divine night, as we praise Pavana Putra, we will hear his glories, his birth, and we will hear of his divinity. But at this time, let us all sit upright. Let us close our eyes. Let us forget the entire world. For we are about to now join in beautiful prayer, invocation mantras. Vajratunda Mahakaya सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दुर्गारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु सरस्वतीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय प्रणवौ पवनकुमार कलबन पावक ज्ञानधनु जासु हृदयागा बसहि राम सरचापधन अतुलित बलधामं हेमशैलावदेहं धनुजवन कृशानं ज्ञानिनामाग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानरानामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि उल्लन्य सिन्धुः सलिलं सलीलं यः शोकवहे जनकात्मजायाः आजानते नैव ददाह लङ्का नमामि तं प्राञ्जन्याजलेयम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयुक्तमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः Tonight, my dear friends, in the most auspicious night of Lord Hanumanji, Pavanaputra Mahavir Swami, we join in our beautiful 40 verses. Let us sing the Shri Hanuman Chalisa and elevate our consciousness. Let us pray to Bajrangabali with full faith, with love and with devotion. And while we've sacrificed our love, our time, our efforts, our energy, adorations to your Lord. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Rajam Nijamana Mukura Sudha Varna Raghuvara Vimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachar Buddhi Nattanu Janike Sumirao Pavana Kumar बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। Now at the top of our voices, पावन सुत हनुमान की, बजरंगबली की जय। जय हो। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीशति हु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता। जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। जय श्री राम। वज्र और ध्वजा विराजय, कांधे मोज जनेऊ साजय। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता। जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंका जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता। जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। सहस वदन तुम रोज सगावे, अस गए श्रीपति कद लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद शारद सहित अहिसा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि को विद कह सके कहाते। तुम पुकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राज पर दीन्हा। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता। जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, ताहि मधुर पल जानु। प्रभु मोद्रिका मिल मुख माई, जल दिलांगे गए अचर जनाई। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता। जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। As we are worshipping Mahaviri Swami, as we are paying pranams and adorations to Lord, don't hesitate to clap, to sing, to chant, and to receive blessings of Mahavir. राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे, होत्र आज्ञा हृदय सारी। सब शीतल है तुम्हारे शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै, तीनों लोग आकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर महावीर जब हम सुनावे। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता। जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। जय हो। नासै रोग हरय सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, वर्तम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। युग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध साधु संत के तुम रखवारे। असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता। सवर दे जान के माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पाता। सदा रहो रघुपति के दास। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, धर्म जन्म के दिग्विसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाय, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाय। और देवता चित न डरहि, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटि सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। जय श्री राम। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। उस सवार पात कर कोई, युतहि बंदे महासुख होई। जोया पर हनुमान चालीसा, होई सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, की जयनाथ हृदय महाधीरा। महावीर बलवंता, महावीर बलवंता, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंता, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। 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 पवन पुत्र हनुमान, 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 पवन पुत्र हनुमान। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहो सुरभो। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। On this beautiful night, as we're about to join in the golden pages of the Shri Hanuman Charitramanas once more, as we connect our beautiful scriptures, none other than the Ramcharitramanas Valmiki Krit Ramcharitramanas, or the writings of Valmiki Ji, Tulsidas Ramayan, the Shri Hanuman Ank. As we're about to begin this night with prayer and with devotion, we're about to join in a chant where we invite the gods and the devatas to bless us. It is a night where people have sacrificed. From morning until now, many people have gone to their mandirs, to their temples, and for the entire day, some would have sat and chanted the Shri Hanuman Chalisa by themselves. Some would have sat down and do meditation to Mahaviri Swami. Some would have probably just made an offering of prasad or naivedya, or his most powerful offering, the root, and even the tulsi leaves. Today, my friends, as we praise his name and his form, last night we had stopped in our message where we were asking a question. What was the question? I don't remember. If you don't remember, we're going to change the whole story. Yeah. We stopped last night when Mahavir Swami had taken avatar on the earth. Lord Shiva had decided that he will take one of his amshas out of the 11 amshas that he has, or energies. He decided to take one of those energy, the one that Ravana didn't worship. And he decided to allow that energy to manifest on the earth. And he was called the Gyaraha avatar. Gyaraha means 11. Ravana only worshipped 10 forms. And with the 11th form, he says, I will come to the earth and I will be the one who will help destroy Ravana. And he came to the earth, my friends, to destroy and to stand side by side with his Lord, Shri Ram. But when we speak about the birth of our Lord, many people we are accustomed to that one birthday, which is this one. We'll hear of the many birthdays of our Lord, 8 different channels of birthdays of Mahavir Swami. But before we do so, we join in this wonderful chant. As we elevate our spiritual energy, we sing for Mahavir. Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Balavantam, Rama Bhaktam, Balavantam, Vande Santam, Hanumantam. To those who know it, you can sing with me. To those who don't know it, clap along and elevate your energy tonight. Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Balavantam, Vande Santam, Hanumantam. Power Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. Vande Santam Hanumantam, Vande Santam Hanuman. Everybody follow. Jai Shri Ram. Vande Santam Hanumantam, Vande Santam Hanumantam, Rama Bhaktam Balavantam, Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. ज्ञान पंडित अंजन तनया ज्ञान पंडित अंजन तनया पवना पुत्रम भास्कर तेजम पवना पुत्रम भास्कर तेजम भास्कर तेजम भास्कर तेजम वंदे संतम हनुमंतम वंदे संतम हनुमंतम. क्या बात. वायुदेव 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 वानरवीर सच्चिदानंद सच्चिदानंद प्राणदेव सच्चिदानंद प्राणदेव 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 वंदे संतम हनुमंतम 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 हनुमंतम बाबा हनुमंतम 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 Hanumantam, Hanumantam. Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Rama Bhaktam, Balavantam, Vande Santam, Hanumantam, Vande Santam, Hanumantam. Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. As you're about to join in the golden pages of Shri Hanuman Charitramanas, or beautiful Katha, or message, my dear friends, it is said at one point when we spoke last night, Prabhu Shankar Bholenath decides that he will take an avatar and he will come to the earth. Today is the day many people celebrate the birthday of the Lord. One of the popular kahanis of the birth of Lord Hanumanji, as we had mentioned briefly, it is said when Prabhu Ramachandra had taken birth in the world, while the Devis or the mothers would have accepted the kheer from the celestial Putra Kameshti Yajna, it is said they left a little bit on top of the windowsill. And some devotees say that a bird came, a crow came and took some of the offerings or maybe picked up the entire bowl and was flying in the air. And while the bird was flying in the air, it is at that point Anjani Mata was standing below with her hands placed out like this. And she was begging, Prabhu, I wish to have a divine child like you. And Prabhu Shankar found it the right moment to allow this amount of kheer to fall into her hands. And when she saw some nectar-like something coming from the skies, as a vanar roop, as a monkey form, she wasn't sure. But the first thing she would have done was touch it to taste it. And kheer or sweet rice is sweet. So she found it tasting sweet and decided to eat all of it. It is said when Prabhu Ram took the avatar, 5 days after the birth of Prabhu Rama, Mahavir Swami came. As we celebrate it all the time, when we celebrate Shri Ram Navami on the 9th day of Navratri, 5 days after, Lord Hanumanji takes birth and he takes avatar. Many people were asking me today and even yesterday, when is the actual day of the Shri Hanuman Jayanti celebrations? Don't get confused with India time and Trinidad time. It is when we see the sun or the sunrise, a festival begins for us. And when they see a sunrise, the festival begins for them. A festival begins with a sunrise. If we are celebrating Navratri, if we are celebrating Shri Krishna Janamashtami, if we are celebrating Shri Hanuman Jayanti, it is when the sunrise begins according to the star of our astrological charts. Then we can understand which day to worship the devatas. And furthermore, it is said, Lord Hanumanji had taken birth on the full moon night of this beautiful month, in the month of Chaitra. While I was coming down the road, I was looking at the moon, how bright and full it is. So it has to be tonight. According to the Western world, we will see one thing. According to the Eastern world, we will see another. But today, as we have seen now this beautiful moonlight, Katha brings to us now that Mahavir Swami would take birth. One of the ways of the birth that we would have heard of the Lord was that version where the sweet rice was offered and it was given then. Another version, it is said, when Mahavir Swami was about to come into the world, it is said Anjani Mata, one day she was about to pray and something happened to her. Pawandev came and he touched her skin, and entering the paw and the 5 sheets that we spoke of last night of the body of Devi, it is said she was ready to bring forth a child in the world. There's no doubt about the mother of Lord Hanumanji, but there's a lot of doubts about who's the father of Lord Hanumanji. Because we always hear these words, Shri Hanuman Charitramana says, and Shri Hanuman Chalisa says, Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandan Teja Pratapa Mahajagavandan. We always know Anjani Mata is the mother. What about the father? Shankara Suvana. He is the son of Shankara. Or Kesari Nandan. And he is the son of Kesari. He is also called Pavanaputra. He is the son of the wind god. So which is his father? And that is why people get confused. And we say, but you know, many scriptures say so many things. So what is the truth to this? And this is where it adds up now. You see, on one part of it, when Prabhu Shankar manifested and a kheer was then given out, he was called Shankara Suvana. When Pawandev had touched her in the next episode, she was then about to give birth to that child who was called Pavanaputra. When Kesari had come to now act that father role, it is at that point, being the father role, that he was then given that title as the son of Kesari. In our Kathatari, there are 8 different birthdays of the Lord. You can write them, you could go back on Facebook and look for them, and you check them according to the stars. In the month of Chaitra, which is this month, between March and April, this is the time on the full moon night where we are celebrating Mahaviri Swami birthday. So this is the first birthday. On the second, it is said, on the 11th day of the bright fortnight of the same month of Chaitra, it was one of the avatars of Mahaviri Swami coming to the earth, where he was known as Kesari Nandan. So he then termed his father to be Kesari, and he understood that there was nothing to do with Pawandev or Prabhu Shankar, but Kesari was the father. In the month of Kartik, Kartik is which month? What time Kartik this fall? October, November, and so on. In the month of Kartik, it is said on the full moon night of the month of Kartik, between October and November, on the full moon night, he also took a manifested form to become Panchmukhi Hanumanji. It was the birth of different forms, and his birthday is celebrated on that day. Fourth, it is said, in the Kartik Amavasya, not on the full moon of the month of Kartik, but on the new moon of the month of Kartik, he celebrates another birthday. In the month of Shravana, between July and August, on Shukla Ekadasi, on the 11th day, which is called an Ekadasi day, in the month between July and August, it is said on the Ekadasi day of the bright fortnight, he also celebrates a birthday. It is said in Mrgashirsha Shukla Trayodashi. Trayodashi is a 13th day according to the stars. In the month of November and December, he has another birthday. It is said in the month of Ashwin, Amavasya, the new moon night, between the month of September and October. Between that September-October month this year, we are experiencing something. I want to just touch on that for a little bit, for some people who don't know. So I was about to book a yajna for a devotee, and the devotee said, well, you know what, my birthday falls at the end of July, and I don't care what it takes, I want to celebrate my birthday with God, because I don't know if I will live after that. And I said, no problem, let's do it. So we decided to book a yajna, and upon booking the yajna, at that point now, while the date is being spread all over, then people would say, you know what, but it's bad time, you're not supposed to pray that time. Why? Because this year, out of all the years, this year in that month, we have a period that is called the Adhik Mas. From the 18th of July to, I believe, the 19th or the 20th of August, there is a time called Adhik Mas. Now, when we say Adhik Mas, let me break it down very easy for you. Every month, there are 12 months of the year in the Hindu calendar. And every month, there's a specific god and a deity who is in charge. Who is the sustainer of the entire universe? Lord Brahma creates. Lord Vishnu says, I will sustain everything that has been created. And Lord Shiva will destroy. So Lord Vishnu is in charge of all of us as we are here. That is why you hear a lot of people say, everything you do, no matter what prayer you do, Lord Shiva Puja, Hanumanji Puja, Devi Puja, every offering must go to the sustainer. So you must say Shri Krishna Arpanam. How come we don't say Shri Ganesha Arpanam? How come we don't say Shri Durga Devi Arpanam? Because the sustainer is in charge. You must pass you, as we say, the bossman who is in charge at that point in time, to take it to anybody else that you want to give the offerings to. So Shri Krishna Arpanam. I'm doing Shri Hanumanji Puja, Shri Krishna Arpanam. Lord Krishna, you are in charge. Take it to Hanuman Baba for me. And it goes directly. Because Lord Vishnu is in charge, think about this. He places a specific deity for the 12 months of the year. He says Agnidev, and I'm just referring. I'm not saying these are the exact gods. He says, Agnidev, you rule in the first month, January. He says, Lord Indra, you take over February. He says, Chandrama Devta, you in charge of March. And every single month, a specific god is given. But every 3 years, as an average, we get an extra month in the Hindu calendar according to the days that are passing by. How? The stars that are rolling by, sometimes they give you a longer amount of hours. As an idea, when somebody dies, and I don't want you to get confused. If anybody confused, just put up your hand. As an idea, when somebody dies and we have the monthly satsang or the monthly offering, how are you supposed to make the offering? Many people become confused and we say, you know what? Well, when the full moon comes. Or some people say, well, every new moon you have to make the offering. So if Papa died on the 5th of March and the full moon or the new moon falls on the 7th of March, then every month some people say, on the 7th of April, on the 7th of June, on the 7th of August, on the 7th, and they go with that day. That is not correct. Some people say, well, let's go with the full moon of every month. That's not correct. I'll tell you what it is. According to the astrological charts and the patras, we were to say, it is according from the day of the funeral, how close it is to either the full moon or the new moon. And let's say Papa died on the 5th of March, but the funeral was on the 7th of March. From the 7th of March, how close is it to the full moon or the new moon? Is the 7th of March 5 days before the new moon? Is it 5 days after the new moon? Is it 5 days or 7 days before the new moon? Or 7 days after the new moon? If it is that the funeral was on the day in which it checks to be 5 days before new moon, then every month 5 days before the new moon is when it's supposed to be done. It doesn't fall on the same day. It never falls, or it barely falls on the same day. If you check every month, 7, 7, 7, or the 8, or the 8, or the 8, if you check the stars, you might get the 7 this month. You might get the 6 the next month. You might get the 4th on the next month. It is because you're checking according to the stars. For the month of Adhik Mas, because of the time span of each star, you have a difference now where one whole month becomes extra. Now, if Lord Krishna says for the whole year, I have you in charge of January, you in charge of February, you in charge of March, and after 3 years, you have a whole month free, and everybody say, well, I don't do my part for the year, we're not do anything again. Who is in charge? Lord Krishna says, I'm the boss. So if nobody wants to be in charge, I will take control of that. So it is called Adhik Mas, or it is called Purushottam Mas, because Purushottam is Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. For this time where Purushottam Mas falls, some people say now, you can't pray, because the specific God of the month not there. And because they don't have a specific God, you're not supposed to pray. Or you're not supposed to do prayers. Or you're not supposed to make an offering of jal. Or you're not supposed to do any form of ritual. So people say you're not supposed to pray. Is there a good time to pray or a bad time to pray? So I ask these questions, right? So some people say, well, you can't pray. So if on the first day of the Adhik Mas, it's a whole month. If on the first day of Adhik Mas, somebody die, will you wait 1 month to do the funeral? No. You will do the funeral, right? And when you do the funeral now, don't you have to call the gods to take the offerings? So I thought the gods on vacation. You have to call them, right? And then when the gods come, let's say now you have to do the 13-day, because these are 1 month we're talking about here. You have to do a 13-day Shraddh. In order to do the 13-day Shraddh, you must do an outside puja and call the devatas and the ancestors. You have to do an inside puja, and you must now do Lord Ganesh Baba puja and call Lord Krishna to do Gita Path. So don't you have to pray? So if we can give in to do the rites or the rituals when somebody dies, and Lord Ganesh Baba will still come and Lord Vishnu will still come, then why not do it when you're alive? And say, well, you know what? Yes, it may be a not auspicious time to do certain things, because all the gods are not prominent, but it's not a time to say that you can't pray. So when we were speaking about the Yajna, then it is advised, in that time of the Adhik Mas, you can pray, you can do your Yajna, you can do your what you call your Nritya Karma. But because all the gods are not there with their prominent energy, it is not recommended to start something new, begin a new venture, build a house, buy a car, do anything grand and new. You're not supposed to start any transaction. When it comes to prayer, you can do a Yajna, because Yajna is giving Atma Gyan, giving knowledge, chanting, singing for God. But you may not be given the opportunity to do a full puja, because you're not supposed to put jandi and flag and so on. But you can do a havan before you start the Yajna. So you can pray. Last question, when it comes to Adhik Mas. If on the beginning of Adhik Mas or in the middle of Adhik Mas, you go to sleep one night and Bhagwan comes in your dream and say, I'm going to take your life tomorrow. Tell me you're not going to pray now. Will you tell God of that, come back in 2 weeks, Adhik Mas going on? Will you say, God of that, come back in 2 weeks because it's bad time? No, my friends. I always say, stop making excuses not to pray. But whenever there's a situation, pray harder. It's very easy. Pray harder. When you want miracles, don't complain. A man who complains on his job, in his home, in a marriage, in a relationship, on the day he steps out in his workplace, he will never be successful. The people who are successful, they beat the rain and they beat the sun, and they, no matter what conditions they have to go through, they never make an excuse. And the same goes to Bhagwan. Never make an excuse when it comes to God. Last question, is God worth your time? Every bit of it. Every day, every second. He has given you life. He has given you clothes. He's given you everything that you have. He's given you a family. He's given you a moment to laugh. He's given you the people in your life. He's given you the friends to laugh with. He's given you the brother and the sister to stand with. Appreciate them. Love your brothers and sisters. Appreciate the time that you have in this world. Prayer, devotion, yajna, it is not about how much offering you can give. It is how you can live as a human being in society. Because prayer and Hinduism is a lifestyle that Bhagwan has taught us as to how to be our brother's keeper, as we were to say, in a most divine way, in a sattvic way, and a pure way. As we have spoken about the Adhik Mas, it is said when the moon and the stars have aligned in different aspects, Lord Hanumanji chose to come on the earth and take birth, and he has 8 different birthdays. If you had 8 birthdays, how you feel? Yeah, boy, real nice. If you had 8 birthdays, we would celebrate everyone. Mahaviri Swami has 8 birthdays. If you want to go back in the life and find them, on these birthdays of Lord Hanumanji, as I spoke about the stars and the moons, celebrate the birthday of Mahaviri Swami. He's powerful. To those who've ever joined in our yatras, you would have heard how powerful Mahaviri Swami is. Today, Bajrangabali has been given 2 days of fasting. His day is on a Saturday, and his day is on a Tuesday. I could well pronounce by Tuesday. Choose which day? Listen to this, right? Sita Mata sits beneath the Ashoka. She's begging out for help. Nobody's there to help her. She's crying out. Ravana comes down. Are Sita Devi, look at me. She says, I don't want to look at you. You've abducted me and separated me from my Lord. Ravana thought, yes, sir. And he leaves her there. And Sita Devi, while she's lost, she cries out. She looks at the ground and she takes her hand, and while tears are falling, the earth has been wet with the tears, and she's rubbing the earth and she's knocking on the earth and she's saying, Maya, Mother Earth, Dharti Mata, open your earth and take me. I don't want to suffer anymore. And Sita Devi, while she's begging the earth to take her, she turns around at that point and she looks at the tree and she says, Ashoka, why don't you live up to the name that you have? Because Shoka means problems and worries, and Ashoka means the one who takes away troubles and worries. I'm sitting under you, why don't you take away my troubles? And while she's begging, he was on top of the tree and he saw the mother putting out her hand like this, and he says, this is the time that he will do it. And he took out the ring that Prabhu Ram had given to him, and he aimed into the hand of Devi, and he's about to drop the ring into the hand. And suddenly he releases it and it falls into her hand. And when it falls into the hand, she opens her hand and she sees the ring that looks like the Lord's one. And she looks at the symbols outside and inside. And she sees her name and she sees Prabhu Rama's name. And she took it and she says, who is creating sorcery here? It's not a joke. If you are brave enough, then come before me. Otherwise my Lord will destroy you. And he decided that he will take his move and he will show his form. And at that point, he decided to jump down in front of her. And as he's about to jump at this point in time, he comes down before the mother. And as he jumps down, Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram! And she hears him calling out the name of the Lord, Prabhu Ramachandra. And while he's calling out that name, she hears Ram. And she says, this must be a devotee of my Lord. And when she sees him, he smiles and he puts his hands together. Listen to this beautiful verse. Pavana Sudha Hanuman ki Jai! Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Rama Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Everybody follow. जो ही शरीर राति राम सोए, जानहि राम सेवसर जोगे। श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय हो। रुद्रा देहा रुद्रा देहा दाए जे हो दोए, भूषण पावन सेवा कर जोहे। श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय। Shri Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Oh Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya. Everybody, Shri Rama Jaya Rama. All together. Shri Rama Jaya. So tonight is the night of Lord Hanuman Jayanti. I want you to turn to the person next to you and see if they're singing. And if they're not singing, you see this thing? Give them a hunch and tell them, wake up. It is a night of Mahavir Swami. Are you ready? Turn to the person next to you and sing. Shri Rama Jaya. Like, all I get some hunch, boy. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya. Shri Rama Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki. Kya baat. It is said, my friends, when Mahavir Swami jumped in front of the mother, she pulled back as though she was scared. Kaun hai? And Pavanaputra, he put his hands together and he dropped on his knees. He says, Ma, main Ram Bhakta ho. I'm a devotee. She says, today tell me, who are you? Main Ram Duta ho. Main Shri Hanuman ji ho. I am the greatest servant of your Lord, Shri Ram, and I've come to serve you. She says, is this true? Is it true? You know my Lord? Is this ring real? Tell me something. And they had a conversation. And while they had the conversation, Sita Mata realized that Mahavir Swami was speaking truth. And while he was speaking the truth, she says, today you've made me so happy. You've made me so proud that my Lord is on his way. And you have come to show a sign of hope and to save me. You know what? I feel so happy. I have nothing to give you. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I have one thing that I will give you that will be powerful. When something good happens in your life, you must give. You all know that? When something good happens, you're supposed to give. We have it the other way around. When good thing happen, he says, away mine from me. When things good how many people look at ZTV? Let me see. A little afraid to say, eh? In Ramayana, you can't lie. All the Indian soaps and things. When you look at these shows, or you look at the culture of Hinduism in Bangladesh and in India, when somebody celebrates something, let me say somebody go to their job and they get a promotion, you know what they do? When they come home, they stop by the dukan wala or the mithai wala and they buy a box of sweets and they come home and say, hey, you know what? I get a promotion here, kauna, eat something. They share for everybody, hey, take something. They don't even need to know you. They see on the road and they're happy. Are bhaiya, kauna, look, there's a laddu, eat it, I get a promotion today. And they celebrate by giving back. When you celebrate, give back. That is why it is very fortunate and lucky when people celebrate a birthday or an anniversary or they celebrate life and they do a yajna, because a yajna is giving back. In a yajna, what do you give back? The greatest thing that anybody could ever have, Atma Gyan, knowledge of the scriptures. Secondly, you call everybody and what you're giving them? You feed people. The greatest gift of Annadan, you feed people. You make people happy. You treat people nice. A yajna is a sacrifice, but it's a powerful sacrifice because you're giving back to the world. And you're saying, Lord, thank you for what you've given to me, that I can give back something to the world. The mother had nothing to give Mahaviri Swami. She started to search, Pauna Putra, Beta, son, I have nothing to give you. Oh, you know what? I know what I'll give you. Let it be known throughout the world. Today you made me happy. Whatever day of the week this may be, whatever day they call it, let today be the most auspicious day of the whole week because you brought good news to me. In Hindi, auspicious means, anybody know? Auspicious means Mangal. She says today will be an auspicious day and people will worship you today because you brought good news to me. Let this day be called Mangalvar, a day of auspiciousness. What day is Mangalvar? Tuesday. That is how we got the Tuesday. Yeah, the Tuesday Naresh. While in our scripture, the 8 birthdays have been labeled out. Mahaviri Swami, when he knelt down there, he says, Ma, I can't thank you enough. Ma, is there anything I could do? She says, son, please tell me of your existence. How? Today we want to hear the birthday of Mahaviri Swami. Tell me of your existence. Do you have a mother? Is she alive? And he stopped and he put his hands together. Ma, meri ma hai? And he put his hands together. My ma, my mother, she's alive, yes. My mother, she's alive. Where's your mother? Your mother is very lucky to have a child like you. Parents, when last did you stop to tell your children, you know what, I'm lucky to have you. We always tell the children, respect your mother, respect your father, love them, worship them, give them all the love in the world. And children now, the humble one, quiet, smaller one, yes, no problem, go, love your parents. But sometimes they need it, as we say, one hand will clap. Parents, when last did you look at your child and say, child, you know what, I love you. Hug them. Sometimes children come and say, well, all they do is quarrel with me whole day. I can tell you last time Daddy smiled with me because you only quarreling whole time. When last did you turn to your child and smile? When last did you turn to your child and give them a hug? When last did you turn to your children and say, son, I love you? Yes, we know the other way around. We have another night, we could deal with that. But when last did a parent turn to a child and say, child, you're doing well. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Or maybe, you know what? I know you're not doing too well because you're being caught up by this and that. But just remember, I love you. So try your best. When last have you turned to your children and given them that support or that word and that mouth so that they could feel, you know what? Wow, mommy is there for me. Sometimes they need to hear it. Sometimes just having mommy and daddy around is not all that they need to know. Sometimes they want to hear it. Sometimes they might see daddy sacrificing, working day and night, and he's coming and he's telling you, I'm working hard. No problem. Daddy could tell you I'm working hard. You could see him working hard. But sometimes they want to hear daddy come and say, hey, listen, did I ever tell you I love you? I love you, child. Sometimes the mother just needs to come and hold them and say, I love you. Do it, my friends. It is creating a bond of unity and harmony in your home and allowing your house to prosper. Mahaviri Swami remembers his mother and he's about to tell Sita Devi about his mother. She says, tell me about your mother. He says, I will tell you from the very beginning. He says, my mother, she has been one of the celestials of the skies. My mother had been one of the dancers of the heavens. Whenever Lord Indra in Indra Loka were to have some form of celebration, my mother would be one of the celestial dancers of the skies. And being a celestial dancer, he says, my mother, she would dance for every occasion and everybody would love her for what she would have done. But there came a day where she lost her character. She lost her role as the personality that she had out of disrespect. What had happened? It is said, my mother, she was one who was adopted by the guru of the universe. I think we mentioned briefly last night of the 9 planets. Did I? And who is the guru? Oh, is that in your next Ramayana? The 9 planets of the solar system who we worship, they are called who? When you're doing puja, the Pandit says, put down 9 flags. The 9 flags represent who? You all know them by name? They call now Graha Devatas. The Pandit tells you, take the red flag and put it in the center of the Bedi. Why? Because the red flag represents the first of the Grahas that is called Surya Narayan Swami. The sun is where in the universe? At the center of all the planets. So the red as energy goes at the center of the Bedi. It is said, Surya, Chandra, Mangal, Buddha, Brihaspati, Shukra, Shani, Rahu, Ketu. Any one of them sound familiar? Which one? Shani and Rahu, one thing, eh? Because them is all your partner. Every time you have Agra, yeah boy, Ava Shani Gra, Ava Rahu Gra, Ava Ketu Gra. They are like our friends. So you know, out of these 9, which one of them is the guru of the universe? Anybody guess? और क्या वोट दे? Surya, Chandra, Mangal, Buddha, Brihaspati, Shukra, Shani, Rahu, Ketu. Who is the guru? Which one? Look talk. Brihaspati. Sage Brihaspati is the guru amongst all the 9 planets. It is said Guru Brihaspati. As a guru, the role of a guru is to take care of his godchildren. To all those who are looking at the live, to all those who are listening via 97.5, to all my godchildren, the role of the guru is to tend to the godchildren. But if you call in, man, you can't get me, just WhatsApp, man. Sometimes the call hard to go through. The role of the guru is to turn to the godchild or to be there for the godchildren. And he said, Guru Brihaspati, he lived that life where he was the guru of all the other planets. He was the guru of all the gods of the heavens. If Lord Indra had a problem, we go in for Guru Brihaspati because he will give a good advice. Whenever you have a problem, turn to your guru. If you're not comfortable to talk to your mother, and you're not comfortable to talk to your father, the Pandits are there. So you could call the Panditji and he will be confidential with you and he will say, hey, what's wrong? Tell me. And you know that you can confide in him because he will give you the right advice. He will look into your life and the situation from a higher perspective, from the spiritual aspect. He might see your aura and energy alone and he might say, you know what, you look confused. What is wrong? You look as though something is not going right with you. What is taking place? And you will be able to now see from a different level. Or he may open the books and he will look into it to see what is taking place and he will guide you accordingly according to the decision making that you have to make. Turn to the preceptors. While he's the guru of the universe, at that point now, it is said he was traveling amongst the stars and he saw the celestial dancers as a child. And she was lost. And while she was lost, she didn't have anybody to go to. So as a celestial one growing up, Guru Brihaspati says, I will take care of you. So he sees this child growing up and he starts to train her. He starts to guide her. He starts to teach her mentally how to pray, how to worship the different gods. He starts to teach her divine path of life. He teaches her how to take care of the mandir and the ashram that he rules. He teaches her how to go and pick flowers and come back and make an offering. He teaches her how to offer jal. He teaches her how to go down to the Ganga Nadi and to take the Ganga Jal and make offerings to Mahadev. And he's teaching her how to pray. And while he's teaching her, every single day she will wake up early in the morning and perform what you call Nritya Karma. What is Nritya Karma? That I spoke of, that even in Adhik Mas or even in the Kal Mas you can still do. At the offerings of Nritya Karma, if you're offering jal every day, you can offer your jal. The everyday ritual. If you light a diya every day, you could light your diya. If you offer incense, agarbatti, you can continue to do it. If you always do arti for your gods every day, you can continue to do it. How many people light a diya in your home every day? When I was growing up, my grandmother used to tell me, make sure you light that diya 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Who does that anymore? Mostly the old people. Mostly the elders. I'm not saying no only, eh? So if you just do it, I didn't call you old. Majority of the elders do it. I grew up knowing that if 6 o'clock reach and you didn't finish bed and get yourself ready to go on by the jandi or to go by your little puja room and light that diya is licks. You have to be there. You must light that diya. And what do you say? When you light the diya, that universal prayer that everybody learned, Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi. Like all you know it all. Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhokti Mukti Pradayini Mantra Murti Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute. Prem Sasumapati Mahadeva ki. How many children today know our mantra? Not many. How many children learn mantras nowadays? Not many. How many parents take your children to the altar and say like that, come say after me, Om Siddhi Buddhi. I learned it from my grandmother. I learned it when I went to school. You know, it's so nice that I'm in my village to do Yajna. You know what school I went to? Anybody know? Nah, man, oh God. Don't tell them not yet. Who's Selma out there? Let me change this chapter, yes? I went to Robert Village. I see one of my miss right there. You know they say no matter how big you get when you see a teacher, they start to shake. I sing in here and my throat going. I went right to Robert Village right here. And right in Robert Village in the school, I learned how to sing. And I learned Hanuman Chalisa. And I learned how to pray. And the teachers will put us line up right there for the morning. And they will tell you, put your hands together. And I get licks too to put my hand together right there. And I learned Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi. And I learned Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu. And I learned Lakshmi Karotu Kalyanam. And I learned all these beautiful mantras. Until this day I practice it. Because from small, they put it there. So I feel nice doing yagya right in my village. Where my school was, where the mandirs was. I've been to all the mandirs growing up as a child. For every function. And I've been taught and learned my culture. Teach your children your culture. Teach your children how to pray. Teach your children how to hold the lota and offer the jal. Don't teach them, well, if anybody in the road, run back inside and after you go. Don't teach them that. Teach them how to be brave and strong. When my guru taught me one day, my guru said to me, we're going to pour a spin because we have to go to one of the courts. We're going to bless this new building. And while we were going to the building, he said to me, we have to park in the car park and walk probably about 20 minutes. And I said, well, we have to put on the same clothes to walk with. And he said to me, be proud of who you are. Be proud of your culture. Teach your children how to be proud also. Children nowadays, when they clapping with their hand inside so. Because they're afraid somebody see them. Today when they're singing, they just hum in and they're watching everybody to make sure nobody watching them singing. Today when they're going into the altar, they're scared. Today when they have to go to the jandi, they're peeping by the door first. Nobody walking in the road yet, eh? And they go run out and throw the darso. Teach them to be brave and to love their culture. Teach them how to be strong. Today, ask my musicians. It is hard to get musicians now. It is hard to get musicians when you're looking for a dantal player, when you're looking for a majira player, when you're looking for sometimes a dolakwala, when you're looking for anybody for music. It's hard nowadays. Teach your children to play music. Even if you're sitting in a crowd and you bring them, if you have a little majira home, walk with it, it's fine. Walk with the majira and play as well. Teach them how to play the dantal. Teach them how to play a dholak. Teach them music. Allow their mind to be infused in Bhagwan's name. Mahavir Swami, he was a great singer. It is said one day Narad Muni was passing by in the skies. Narayana, Narayana, and he's playing his Ektar Veena. And while he was passing the skies, he heard deep down in the forest a voice. And he couldn't believe it. He came down to see who it was. And who was it? He was sitting on a rock by himself. And he was chanting aloud. Jai Shri Ram Hare Prabhu. Jai Shri Ram Hare Prabhu. Jai Shri Ram Hare Prabhu. And he was singing from his heart. How many prayers we go to and we ask people, hey, sing a little song now. Oh God, I have a little throat problem there. It's only when you ask them to have a throat problem. Or they say, I can't sing. As long as you could talk and you have a avaz, you have a voice, you could sing. As long as you have a voice, you could sing. Because some people say they can't sing. But then put on a little Celine Dion and hear them. Put on some kind of little, how you call it? Where's the new thing now? Something with a little vibes. And hear them sing now. But say bhajan. Nah, me know that. I don't sing anything. Teach our children to be brave. Teach them to hold the mic and sing. Teach them how to play the instrument. Mahavir Swami, as a teacher, as Bhagwan incarnation, he teaches the world music. He's not just powerful. He's powerful physically, and from his heart, it is said, music flows. When he thinks of his Lord, he forgets the whole world. When you sing, forget the whole world. When you pray, forget who's looking at you. When you pray, forget who's even thinking about you. No matter how much good you do in the world, expect that there will be people who will criticize you, because not everybody in the world have come to like you. And it is fine. Accept it, it is okay. Because when you accept it, then you move forward. So no matter how good you may try to sing, some people might say, oh God, my chekina. No matter how much you try to pray, somebody when you Yajna might say, oh God, if you see how it is behave, and he come Yajna. Some people will find a fault. But you know who you are. Do what you must. Time is short in the world. Today the Guru is taking care of the world. And the Guru sees this little child and he starts to teach her. And while he's teaching her, she pays her respects. Listen. Ao Gurudev Darshan Dejo. Ao Gurudev दर्शन देजो तुम हो जगत के दाता तुम हो जगत के दाता बोलिए आओ गुरुदेव दर्शन देजो आओ गुरुदेव दर्शन देजो तुम हो जगत के दाता तुम हो जगत के दाता ब्रह्मा तुम ही हो विष्णु तुम ही हो शंकर रूपा सृष्टि स्थिति लय स्वरूप तुम हो, सृष्टि स्थिति लय स्वरूप तुम हो अनादि रूपा, तुम हो जगत के दाता, तुम हो जगत के दाता। हरि जय गुरुदेव। आओ गुरुदेव दर्शन दे दो, आओ गुरुदेव दर्शन दे दो, तुम हो जगत के दाता, तुम हो जगत के दाता। ओम गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव, ओम गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव, ओम गुरुदेव। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः, गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Guru Brihaspati, he taught this child everything that she had to learn for prayer. And most importantly, he taught her to have mind control. Control your mind. Can you control your mind? You think you could control your mind? How many people here is get vexed? Let me see. Narayan Mede. No, I just wanted to see her, that's all. How many people have a temper? Probably to second hand now. Yeah, boy, wee, boy. Look, they have foot and thing up here too. Do you think you can control your mind? Or does the mind control you? In turn, Guruji has always said to us, one day while we were sitting for meditation, we sat down, my first class of meditation. I was accustomed sitting like this, posture, for probably about a little hour and a half. And after about hour and a half, knees start to hurt. And on the first study class, Guruji says, well, at this time now we're going to start our first day of meditation. Sit in this meditative posture. No problem. Guruji, how long is this class? Well, you're going to sit like this for 8 hours. This is your first class. 8 hours? After an hour and a half, you're there so. And you're holding on to your knee. Remember that behavior we talked about yesterday? How you call it? Yeah, Kulachan. And they start to shake like this now. And we asked Guruji, but how do you sit like that? And you know what he said? He says, nobody has never died from a knee pain. Put your mind here, put the pain there. Let the mind control the knee. Don't let the knee control the mind. Don't let life situations control the way you think and get you upset. Don't let life situation allow you to lose your temper, lose your cool, or lose your senses. You be in charge. Choose not to get vexed. Try that. Try choosing not to become angry. Try choosing not to become upset, because it destroys you mentally and emotionally. For these few days, again, for the rest of the Yajna, try not to get vexed. If somebody were to be to all those who are coming every night, try. And on the last day, come and tell me if you did. If you did, come and say, Panditji, here's what, you know what? I didn't get vexed from that day until this last day I didn't get vexed. And if between this period you get vexed, don't tell me. Keep it to yourself. Work on it. Next time you see me, you go tell me. But try working on yourself and see if you could try not to get angry. That will be an accomplishment. Try to enjoy life. Life is not about getting upset and fighting. It is about enjoying every moment. While he's teaching her mind control, something happens. He says, Beti, go to the forest and bring the water that you always bring to bathe the lingam. And she went into the forest that day, and something differently happens. When she reached the nadi or the river to pick up the water, she sees some brahmanas taking bath in the water. And for the first time as a young girl, she's seeing these men, they have on their dhoti and they're taking bath, but they bareback. Even the guru always had his chadar covering his shoulder and more or less the rest of his body. But for the first time, she saw somebody bareback and she stopped and she said, well, wait a minute. She stopped there and she started looking at them. And while looking at them, it is said she got caught up with lust and temptations. And for that second in lust and temptations, the guru was waiting and she was not coming back. It is said time was passing and he was waiting for her. Hours was passing and she was waiting for her. And she wasn't coming back. She got caught up by the temptations of the world. The maya, the illusion of the world. And when she got caught up, at that point, she didn't move, but she stood there looking. And the guru went in search of her. And when he reached the point in which he saw her, she was standing behind some of the trees and she was staring at the brahmanas while they were making their offerings because they were bareback. When he saw her at that point, he touched on the shoulder and he says, Devi, kya hua? Are you lost in your mind for lust? I've taught you mind control. Why can't you control yourself? She says, Gurudev Pranams, please forgive me. I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. The world is filled with maya. The world is filled with illusions. People will tempt you. Your job will tempt you. People will try to get you vexed. People will try to make you get angry to do bad things and then they will blame you for it. People will make up stories and blame you for it. People will do many things to pull you down in life. Will you allow it? Vishnu ke Lakshmi banvati Raja ke hai धरती रानी विष्णु के लक्ष्मी बनवती राजा के है धरती रानी माया तो भगनी हम जानी माया तो भगनी हम जानी. I just want to give this nice example. The world is filled with maya and illusions. When you're driving up the road and you see the water on the road, do you ever reach the water on a hot sunny day? You're going up the highway and sun hot, but far up the highway you could see as though it have water on the road. And while you're looking and you see the water, no matter how much you drive and you reach closer, you can't find the water because it's a mirage. Not so? Maya plays with your mind. Secondly, I will ask this question. Do we actually have a sunrise and a sunset? Or is it that the sun is situated right there and we are the ones moving on the axis and we get a sunrise and a sunset? Maya plays with our mind. In the night time, you see the stars. And we say, well, the star gone because daybreak now is, it's daylight, so the star gone. Did the stars really go? Or are they still there and we just can't see it because the light is too bright? Maya plays with your mind. And then one of the best example now. Think of this situation, right? You come home one night, so you're going home tonight from your Yajna. And as soon as you pull in the driveway and you're driving in the yard, current go. Well, I hope current they go tonight. But I'm just saying. You're reaching in the driveway and current gone. And as soon as the current gone, at that point in time, this is what happens now. You're about to step out your car. And when you look down on the ground, you can't see, but the eye's now focusing in the dark, right? So as soon as you're about to step out of the car now, you see something like this in the ground. What is that? Yeah. So you're now looking into the ground now, and when you look on the ground, you're trying to see, the eyes are focused and you see nothing looking so you say, you know what, now boy, coming out the next side. So it's already dark, no current, and you go on the other side, and you open the door, and you watch and you don't see anything. So you jump down fast. And as soon as you jump down, you decide now that you're going to run in the house fast because you know what? You don't want that thing catch up with you. So you're grabbing for everything is dark and you run and you reach by the door and you're fingering for all the keys and you find the key and you find it in the door handle, the door lock. And you open it now and you run inside and you're trying to peep but there's no current. So why there's no current, you decide now at this point, you will go inside and hide because the snake outside. But you know what? It's bugging you a little bit now. So you want to do something about it. So you tell the man at the house, hey, you better get rid of that, So the man at the house now gone and you look for the cutlass and he can't see, so he feeling and he's trying to remember where the cutlass is. And he finds the cutlass, and in the dark now he come outside and he just trying to see his image. And he reach out now to a point and he see that thing still there, it didn't move. So he starts to beat. He starts to hit and he starts to beat this thing. And after hitting and hitting, he realized it not moving. He push and he push it not moving. Thank God it dead. So he leave it right there and he go in the house in the night and he say, right, everybody, it die. So he go to sleep now. And it's on his mind, I hope this thing really dead, So he go to sleep. He wake up next morning and the first thing he does, he want to make sure he didn't get up and go anywhere. He want to make sure it dead. So he come outside and when he watch, it was a piece of rope on the ground somebody dropped it the day before. How do you feel? Maya can play tricks on you, right? Maya can play tricks with your mind in many different ways. Don't let the mind control you. You control the mind. You allow the mind to decide what you must do. Today, he speaks to her. And he says to her at this point in time, he says, while I will teach you everything that I want to teach you, today you have disrespected me by looking at these men. You know what? I will curse you and slap you, and I will send you to the earth to live an earthly life. And in the earthly life, you will then learn at this point how to get over the senses of pleasure and lust and temptations. And after getting over it, one day you will come back. And she starts to beg, no, please, please. I'm living comfortable. I won't do it again. Please, let me stay over here. Don't send me to the earth. And she's begging. And Guru Brihaspati says, it's okay. Go down and learn. And she begs and she begs. And while she's begging, Guru Brihaspati says to her, he says, listen, I feel sorry for you. But when I put my words, I can't take it back. Learn that tonight. Sometimes in an angry state, you tell people things, and when you tell people hurtful things, you can't take it back. When you hurt people with your words, you will never be able to take it back. The people around you that you hurt, you might tell them sorry, and they might say, well, all right, it's okay. But it will always be there. Be careful how you speak to people. How we say is now what you say what? How you say it. Be careful how you speak to people. She begged, and the Guru says, well, here's what, I'll give you a gift. You know, I taught you all the days how to pray to Mahadev. Well, something good will happen with Mahadev. And there the Guru Brihaspati says, you know what, one day the Lord will take an incarnation and he will have to be blessed. Which Lord will come? Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. One voice all together. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Arana Bhava Bhaya Dharunam Navakanja Lochana Kanja Mukha Kara Kanja Para Kanjarunam Shri Ram Ram Shri Ram Hanuman. Kandarpa aganita amita chabanava nirada sundaram patapeta manaho darute ruchi suchi nami janaka sutavaram Shri Ram Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram. And she begged her way through. And that day the Guru says, no, go down to the earth and you will learn. And one day you will be blessed. And she went down to the earth and she was given the name Anjani Ma. She was given that title, Anjani Mata. It is said she had found that powerful Kesari. And one day being on the earth, as you would have mentioned, one of his powerful manifestations, she was begging for the cure. She was begging for a blessing. She got frustrated with her life and she was begging, God help me. I don't know how much longer to live in this body that is of the Vanar Roop. And that day Pawan Dev decided to blow. It is said that day the wind started to now take its course. It is said Pawan Dev was passing by. It is said the bird was passing by. It is said in all the mysterious and powerful ways that the Lord was about to take his avatar. Prabhu Shankar was ready to come on the earth. And it is said through the womb of the Divine Mother, it is said he decides to come down. And in which form? He will take birth on the earth and he will be known as Maruti. He'll be known as the most powerful child to enter the world because he's an Amsha of Lord Shiva. He's a manifestation of Mahadev. He's Gyaraha Rudraha. He's Gyaraha Avatar. He's Lord Hanumanji and his Pavana Putra. And he made a name for himself. And this day today, devotees will sacrifice not just for Prabhu Rama, but for the name in itself, Shri Hanumanji. Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki Jai Kapisha, Jai Jai Kapisha, Jai Kapisha Hanumanta. All together. Jai Kapisha, Jai Jai Kapisha, Jai Kapisha Hanumanta. Jai Kapisha, Jai Jai Kapisha, Jai Kapisha Hanumanta. Jai Bajrangbali. Vayudeva Vanaravira, Vayudeva, Vayudeva. Vayudeva Vanaravira, Anjaneya, Anjanatanaya, Anjaneya, Anjana. Jai Kapisha, Jai Kapisha, Hanumanta. Arbuttakaya Vanaravira, Arbuttakaya Baba Arbuttakaya. Arbuttakaya Vanaravira, Brahmachari Chiranjeevi, Brahmachari Chiranjeevi. Jai Kapisha, Jai Jai Kapisha, Jai Kapisha Hanumanta. Jai Bajrangbali. Lanka Dahana Jambavantara, Lanka Dahana Lanka Dahan. Lanka Dahana Jambavantara, Lankini Samhara Hanumanta, Lankini Samhara Hanumanta. Jai Kapisha, Jai Jai Kapisha, Jai Kapisha Hanumanta. All glories to Mahavir Swami. Rama Banta, Rama Duta, Rama ho Rama. Rama Banta Rama Duta Jnana Pandita Mahavira Jnana Pandita Mahavira Jai Kapisa Jai Jai Kapisa Jai Kapisa Hanumanta Jai Shri Ram Sachidananda Prana Devam Sachidananda Baba Sachidananda Sachidananda Prana Devam Hanumanta Jaya Hanumanta Hanumanta Jaya Hanumanta Hanumanta Jaya Hanumanta Hanumanta Jaya Hanumanta Jai Kapisa Jai Jai Kapisa Jai Kapisa Hanuman Bolo Jai Kapisa Jai Jai Kapisa Jai Kapisa Hanumanta Hanumanta Baba Hanumanta Hanumanta Veera Hanumanta Hanumanta Java Hanumanta Hanumanta Veera Hanumanta Hanumanta Jai Jai Hanumanta Hanumanta Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. That day it is said Mahavir Swami was about to speak the kahani of his mother to Sita Devi. And he says, Maya Sita Devi, on that day when Pavan Dev had touched the skin of my mother, it is from that moment my conception had begun. And he says, Maya, my mother has taught me everything. She has taught me a good character, moral and value. Today I am here to let you know, Devi, that my Lord and your Lord will come to save you. Hold on to your feet and the Lord will be there to guide you. And while he says to her, Maya, hold on to feet, a bhajan says this. Ye jeevan bhita, the jeevan jayega. And when you're in a crisis, you know what you do? Tujhe rona. He says, Maya, mat rona. Don't cry. Nahi hoga. And when he gives her faith, Maya, don't cry. Lord Hanumanji has come to save you. Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki. We end our work at Hatha night. Tomorrow we will begin with that bhajan, that beautiful song. As it speaks about faith and what Mahavir Swami does to us and the mediums in our scripture that he would have done to create faith in our life. As we end our message, at this time now, Panditji would have performed the Havan Puja earlier. So let us all stand for final arti. So while we are standing, I believe some of the offerings are still there, like the Havan for us. So we will do it. All of those sit down, wait. So we will do the few offerings into the sacred fire, and then we'll continue with the arti. Someone can light the Havan at this time. Om Shri Ang Agni Devata Nama Pavaka Nama Sashanla Gotra Varun Pidana Mata Shri Agnay Nama Havahya Vistapayami Pujami Pratikartami Damagnay Nama Mantra Pushpam Samarpayami Sarvametara Brahmadevaya Namaha Om Shri Agnay Namo Namaha. We offer Achman, water around the fire 3 times. Sarvatarata Samayuktam Sugandhim Nirvalam Jalam Iti Achmanyamedattam Grihanam Sanvantu Mangalam Achmanyam Samarpayami Agnebhyo Namo Namaha Idam Agnebhyo Namo Mantra Pushpam Samarpayami Atamantra Pushpanjalim Pratigartam Vigneshwaraya Varadaya Surapriyaya Idam Agnebhyo Namo Namaha. As you're about to make the offerings into the sacred fire, everybody say Swaha loudly after each offering. ॐ अग्नये नमः स्वाहा। ॐ प्रजापतये नमः स्वाहा। ॐ इन्द्राय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ सोमाय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ वरुणदेवताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ कलशदेवताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ सीताराम्यं नमः स्वाहा। ॐ उमामहेश्वराय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ नवदुर्गादेवी माताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ गजगोविन्दाय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ इष्टदेवताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ लंबोदराय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ भालचंद्राय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ नवदुर्गादेवी माताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ पंचपालदेवताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ दष्टिकपालदेवताय नमः स्वाहा। ॐ इदं गायत्राय नमः स्वाहा. Now we take all the offerings at this time, the final offering. Om Namo Paravallabhaya Namaha. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudakshate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Sarvang Vai Purnagvam Swaha. You offer Achman, water around the fire 3 times. ओम श्री सर्वतरत समायुक्तम सुगंधिम निर्मलम जलम आचमन्यमेदत्तम गिरनाम सन्वन्तु मंगलम अत आचमन्यम समर्पयामि हवाहिं स्थापयामि पूजामि प्रतिकर्ताम इदम अग्नयव्यो नमो नमः. We take a flower, we find Agni Dev in all directions, east, west, north, south, up and down. वनस्पतिर सोभूत गंधार गंधुत मार्ग सर्वदेवानाम धूपोयम प्रतिकर्ताम इदम अग्नयव्यो नमो नमः. Everybody extend their arms as we take blessings of Agni. मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वज मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षः मंगलाय तनो हरि. अग्नि देवता की जय. We now join in beautiful आरती. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. दुष्ट दलन रघु जय हो. जय बजरंगबली. जाके बल से गिरिवर कापे मृग दोष जाके निकट न जाके. जाके बल से गिरिवर कापे मृग दोष जाके निकट न जाके. अंजनी 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 पुत्र मां बलदाई सतन के प्रभु सदा सहाय. देवीरा देवीरा रघुनाथ बताए लंका जारी सिया सुधि लाए. देवीरा रघुनाथ बताए लंका जारी सिया सुधि लाए. लंका से लंका से लंका से समुद्र सकाई जात पवन सुत बार न लाए. जय श्री राम. लक्ष्मण मूर्छित परे सकारे आनि संजीवन प्राण उबारे. लक्ष्मण मूर्छित परे सकारे आनि संजीवन प्राण उबारे. बैठी हो तोरे जमकारी रावण के भुजा उतारे। जय बजरंगबली। जय 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 हनुमान, 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 जय 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 हनुमान। जय हनुमान 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 हनुमान। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शांति। हरि ओम। स्वामीनाथा सच्चिदानंदा, जय गुरुनाथा सच्चिदानंदा। 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 जय बजरंगबली। हम सब है तेरे बच्चे स्वामी, हम सब है तेरे बच्चे स्वामी, तू है हमारा विधाता स्वामी नाथा, तू है हमारा विधाता स्वामी नाथा। राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोपाल राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोपाल राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोपाल राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोपाल राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोपाल राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोपाल राधे, राधे राधे। स्वामी नाथा सच्चिदानंदा, जय गुरुनाथा सच्चिदानंदा। स्वामी नाथा सच्चिदानंदा जय गुरुदत्ता जय हनुमंता स्वामी नाथा ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। पवन सुत हनुमान की, बजरंगबली की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। आसन जी सब लोग, let us all take our seats. As we take our seats and as we conclude a beautiful night on this Shri Hanuman Jayanti night of worship and devotion, please do partake of your arati, prasad. Meals have been prepared for each and every one, so please do partake. Of course, downstairs, just like last night. And to those who wish to take away, you can also have boxes to take away. And until we see tomorrow night, Jai Shri Ram.